Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Spring of Deception. We'll be back. We'll talk about that
and
more
Spring of Deception
right after this.
Yeah.
Hey, and we are back.
Hey.
Top of the morning to you.
We're just having a fun little conversation. Hey,
Yeah.
Good morning, Beth.
Good morning, Beth. It's the third spring.
I think at least the second.
I think this is the second one. You
Yeah.
had false spring a little earlier in January.
Yep.
And then, so this is Spring of Deception. And then we've
Spring of
got mud
Deception.
season yet to come.
Oh, mud season's here.
I feel like we're in.
Well,
mud
there's a little mud
when
season
you have that
now,
kind of
but-
snow melt.
Yeah.
In
it was
60
muddy
degrees for a
yesterday.
week. Yeah, it was
I
all mud.
Tootling across the construction area.
I will take the mud over
Nope.
the frozen tundra.
Nope.
I know you hate mud season,
Pass.
but it
Pass.
is getting us somewhere.
I understand
It's
that.
about it's
Yeah,
perspective.
That's
But
fair.
there's-
It will soon be green.
Waking up
and
the
lush.
worms.
Well, I mean, today I drove in and it was daylight. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
to see the sunrise.
That's nice.
That's not normally what I see when I drive in to the office.
Yeah,
so
we're making
it was-
progress.
Yes.
Things are happening.
Yesterday, I got home. It was after 5 o'clock, and I had time to go for a run, and it was, it was beautiful
That's been exciting.
Yeah.
We need a nice solid rain.
to get all the salt and mud off the streets.
And then we need like 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds for about 5 or 6 hours. Dry that mud up.
I don't like your wind.
All things
talk,
are possible that you're saying.
But
All
this
things.
is
You'll tolerate
this
the
is-
mud. You'll tolerate the
Yeah,
wind, right?
yeah, that's true. Well, this is dead week, and then I start coaching girls soccer next week. So,
Oh, wow.
wind is the bane of my existence.
The ball's
when I'm out
like,
there.
Well,
yeah,
we can have the
Well,
wind this week.
yeah.
Clear up.
That'd be great if
Dry
it was
up
this week.
that soccer field for you.
Well, it's
Emma's
it started 4
glad
5.
to be here with us. Good morning, friends. Good morning, Emma.
Emma.
And Beth says, sorry, Will, missed your birthday. Happy belated. Yeah, happy
Oh, that's
birthday.
okay.
Was it
Thank
last
you.
week?
It was, yeah.
I think it was the day after I saw you, and I'm like, Will,
You still have those?
I do, yeah.
told me it was
I
your
lose
birthday.
track of them.
did you celebrate?
How
What'd you
old am I
do?
now?
Eat cake?
I worked. It was Wednesday.
Sounds like a solid adult birthday.
It worked. No,
Worked.
no, but the next night, my family got together. We got some takeout food, and we all
Nice.
ate that. And my wife made me a cheesecake, and
Nice.
That's good.
there you go.
It's good quality.
Happy birthday.
Quality birthday cheesecake.
54.
84.
54.
They do become a little less exciting.
Yeah.
I've learned in middle age.
Kind of another day.
Oh.
Well, I
yeah.
remember when
yeah.
you turned 50 years old.
Yeah, that's 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
I turned 49 this year.
Oh, congrats.
So
Oh, wow.
it's kind of
Wowie
that-
woo-woo. You're getting close
that-
to the big one.
Yeah, so
I remember when my dad turned 50. Isn't that kind of interesting?
remember
like
when
the
my dad
different.
that felt
50.
old, right?
Yeah.
Didn't that seem really
Yeah.
old?
I remember
It's
being
not
like,
though, is it?
my dad's
I don't think
50.
it's old.
No, it's young.
It's young.
Spring chickens.
The-
Yeah.
new
Well,
30.
it is weird
Yeah.
though when you start turning birthdays.
Feel
when you
young.
remember your parents turning.
I
that
don't.
age.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what's
I
weird. It's
don't.
like, oh, I remember my dad's 40th birthday. Wait, I'm 40. I
Yeah.
remember my dad's 50th birthday. I'm 50.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I distinctly remember my dad turning 50. And then I was like, whoa, that's an interesting new threshold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel a lot younger at 50 than
Than
I
what
thought-
they
I
were?
thought he was
Yeah,
at
yeah.
50. Yeah.
We were definitely, I can't remember who I was talking about that with over the weekend, that just people look a lot younger than they used to. And I think a lot of it just has to
That's
do
your
with simple
perspective.
things like, well, but like look back on TV shows,
Yeah.
like the people they're portraying as 40 years old look like 60.
Right.
And it's like
Golden Girls, classic example.
Golden Girls is a classic example
When
of that.
great grandma, whatever her name was, she was the youngest of all of them. Yeah.
And I think a lot of it just has to do with, people more and more just dye their hair. And then there's also better skincare and different clothing. Like
I think all that's true.
I had my collagen
I did
in my
see a really interesting
oatmeal this morning.
take
Yeah,
on this
yeah.
because they said, well, the reason that when you look at old pictures of people that are younger, they look old, it's because they're with a hairstyle and a style of dress that we associate now
With old.
With
Yeah.
old.
That's interesting.
And it wasn't old then,
Yeah.
but we look at that as old because that's an old style.
That's
it's an old
interesting.
hairstyle.
Yep.
Yeah, it was my sister-in-law I was talking with us about because we were talking when you see pictures.
Spring chickens, get rid of the current egg prices. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
When you see pictures of, people your age in high school, they looked like 30-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was something weird about that. But then if you go back, if you go to the I'm going to say the 2000s, they look pretty young. But I don't know. Maybe it is just
Yeah.
Well,
perception.
in the 80s, we were 30 years old when we were
We
in
had
high
to be.
school.
We had to act as if we were 30.
We were.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember, leaving school, grabbing some food,
Sure.
going to work,
Sounds familiar.
and working for an 8-hour shift.
yeah.
Maybe or maybe not doing my homework, when I got
Yeah.
home. But it was, different days.
I don't know. It's
Parents are
interesting.
like, where you been? I was at work. Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That sounds really familiar. I haven't seen you in a couple of days. What's going on?
Been working. Got to pay the
There
bills,
was
Mom.
no soccer mom shuttling happening. Yeah.
Yeah, where are you going? I got a game. Oh, you do? Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, where's it at?
Yeah.
Lebanon?
You
Oh,
coming?
that's far. See ya.
Good luck.
Don't get car sick on the way there.
Very different. Oh, hey, don't forget your lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, don't forget you're going to need this before the game.
Yeah. Nope.
Did you get your equipment?
We used to drive up to Cody's store and buy a sandwich
Yeah.
before the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
I
goodness.
remember going to a track meet, and I get on the bus, and I've got Kentucky Fried Chicken. And my track coach is like, Ballard,
The meal champion.
what are you doing? And I'm like,
Carb loading.
I'm hungry.
Chicken.
Carb loading.
The mile's not till halfway through the track meet.
Oh, boy.
In fairness,
you couldn't-
he was right. It probably wasn't the best
but it
pre-run.
didn't hurt you at all back then, but you couldn't do it today.
Could not do it
Chicken
today.
in a mile. Ugh.
I can't do Kentucky Fried Chicken and run tomorrow.
Oh,
I'd
the
still be
Colonel's
feeling it.
revenge. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
back then you were just like, hey, I got $3. I'm going to go buy some cheap food.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was so cheap. It was so cheap.
$3. Seriously, you were like, I can get a whole
yeah.
meal.
Oh, when I was in college, Hardee's used to run a deal. They had dime cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
So you could go to Hardee's and you could buy 10 cheeseburgers for $1.
Here you
We
go.
used to do that. We
Mine
just-
was Tuesday nights at Wendy's, 99 cents for all you could eat chili.
Oh, yeah.
99 cents you could get refill. So they go eat 3 bowls of that.
Yeah.
See, okay, here's
That's
the
big time.
difference in you guys' generation and my generation. My generation, you could walk into a bar and buy a tray of beer for a dime. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
There was plenty of that.
Yeah.
There was plenty of that as well.
That was definitely possible.
there's
as
been
well.
some very distinct conversations, though, about the elder millennials and the party scene that happened during that time frame, because it was this perfect converging of the college
Yeah.
crazy that had been happening for a while, and then more stuff visible on TV that had ever been before. I call it the Girls Gone Wild generation, because
yeah,
every
yeah.
night there were those commercials on TV, and it was just like, and then the
Girls
club
Gone
scene.
Wild. I hadn't heard that
Yes.
phrase in a long time.
Every night, like as soon as after 9 p.m., that's all the commercials were on like normal networks.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened.
Bizarre.
And so you've got that scene and the club scene hitting together, and it created this like crazy about 10-year period.
Yeah.
And it's like that doesn't exist anymore. And like as a parent, I'm a little worried my kids will go through that, and I'm like, wait, that doesn't exist anymore. It's good.
Well,
Well, I'm sure
our
it's good.
generation that existed, just nobody talked about it.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
my
and then yours
generation,
was
it
celebrated
was
it.
boom.
Yeah.
It was celebrated. And then you had the shows like Jersey Shore and The Bachelor, or like the Bachelorette shows.
Yeah.
And
And now
that's-
it's all.
and that became how people behaved. Like
that became
this
how.
is what real life is.
And it wasn't just a few people,
Right.
it was like the
A
majority.
generation. Yeah.
Well, and now it's all TikTok and OnlyFans. And
Yeah.
That's where it's all is now.
Yes.
It's the same stuff.
It's the same stuff. It's just different. But it's not done in this large social setting of nightclubs full of people, and it's pretty wild.
No, it's in the darkness
Craziness.
of people's own homes. It might be worse.
Well,
Extra creepy. Yeah, there's no accountability.
I started saying this about 4 or 5 years ago, but I said I think they've pushed so far the pendulum's about to swing
I think
back.
so too.
Feels
And
like
I am thrilled to see
Yes.
some cultural balancing. Of course, the danger is the pendulum will again swing too far, because that's what we stupid humans do. Is we
Oh,
get
yeah,
we get
we're
in the
gonna-
ditches versus trying to find the meandering middle ground of reason.
Yeah.
There is
Yeah.
there is a significant place where there just really is no middle ground anymore.
Well, and I want to be
Yeah.
very clear, because anytime I say middle ground, that can come across as wishy-washy. You got one foot in both camps. I don't mean that.
No.
From a Christian worldview, I talk about when you follow the Holy Spirit, there's not a straight line in the middle of the ground. You're in step. That just means you don't really have a home in somebody's camp. You are walking with the Lord, and it's you don't know where the wind comes from. You don't know where it's going, is what the Bible teaches. And so it's when I say middle ground, I don't want to make it sound like I'm not willing to take a stand.
Yeah,
It's just
no.
that I will take stands. I'm just not going to fit in your neat little categories.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. No.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
as humans, we tend to be in the ditches. We go too far here, we go too far here, and we're in trouble
100%.
either
Well,
way.
Yeah.
I used to teach when I did a little more teaching at church that, I said the devil doesn't care why you're wrong or how you're wrong.
Yeah.
He'll just, whichever way you're inclined to go wrong,
Deceit
he'll
is
just push
deceit.
you that
Yep.
way. If you're going to be a crazy conservative legalist off the right path, he'll push you that way.
Yeah.
He's not conservative, he's not liberal, he's in favor of whichever isn't true.
Yeah.
And he'll
Yeah.
push you whichever way
Fallacies.
you're
He loves
inclined to
fallacies.
go. Yep.
Yeah. No, that's 100% true. I totally agree with that.
That's tends to be where we major
Aren't
though.
us
so.
humans just interesting little creatures?
Well, we are. We are. If we would only learn to
Are we
listen
silly?
to ancient wisdom and
Are we silly?
recognize that there's nothing new under the sun.
Nothing.
Oh, I know.
People are always getting
yeah.
those new revelations. I've got a new word from God.
New word, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
How about we just learn the old stuff first?
Yeah.
Can we try that?
Yeah. Yeah, study them Gnostics for a little bit too.
I've been in the minor prophets. I think we all need to pay attention.
Yeah, there's some good stuff there. And everybody skips them, but there's some really good stuff
yeah.
in those
It's
minor prophets.
very geared towards America. We'll say that.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Oh my goodness.
It's either Haggai or Habakkuk. It's a 2-chapter one, and the whole thing is about why are you out there building your nice homes and you're neglecting the temple? I'm like, bingo. There you
That's pretty much all of them, actually, not just Haggai or Habakkuk. That's Nahum. That's also Haggai.
Yeah.
I think you are talking about Haggai, though.
go. Yeah, I think I am. It's chapter 1, chapter 2. Anyway, fun party Saturday night.
Yeah, I saw some pictures from it. It looked good.
Yeah, it was. We were good. We had a good time, and they raised some money for
doing something.
LREF,
Is
and
this
Yeah.
the gala?
it was the gala. Yeah,
The gala.
Fun. I had. I picked a political table to sit at.
Did ya?
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
just-
man.
Imagine that.
Yeah. No, I
That's
had.
so weird.
My guests were.
Was it
Darren-
politically diverse, or was it?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a wide,
No, it wasn't.
wide spectrum where everybody still was correct. So it was me, Darren Chappell, and Eric Burleson.
Oh,
a good
okay.
crew.
Yeah, that's a fun
That's a
crew.
good crew.
Yeah, it was a good crew, and Eric was super fun to talk to. And
He's easy to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
He's very you can sit down and have a conversation with that guy, no problem.
Well, and I mean, I invited him. He was gracious enough to come and sit at my table, and I appreciated him being there.
Yeah, that's
but the
cool.
one thing I didn't want to do was just like, we're going to talk about politics all night, Eric.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do. And so I intentionally was like, I said,
Let him have a break.
I said, there's one question I want to ask you. I asked him one question about that, and I said, okay, how are your kids? Tell me about your family. He loves talking about politics. He kept coming. He's the
yeah,
one that kept
I
bringing
think
it
he's
up.
in.
It's always
yeah.
been his passion.
So
Jam.
we talked a lot about what he's doing in Washington and his perspective on some things, and he's got some really cool insight, and is very much oriented towards staying grounded.
I hope so.
And
That's my prayer for him every day.
yeah, I know.
told him
Keep
that
his
when he got elected. Like,
Southwest
Yeah.
Missouri values.
don't let him change you.
And he's not. He's holding the ground really solid up there, and
It's good.
Yeah, he's a good dude. I'm glad to have him. Glad to be a
Sweet family. Love him. Love him dearly.
They really are. really cool family. But it was fun. I think they raised some money and that stuff.
Yeah, it sounded like it was real successful. They had the pancake breakfast raising money for 8th grade that morning, too, and we were getting ready, headed out the door for that. Then one of the girls wasn't feeling well at all, and so they had the urban air hangover, is what I call it. Urban air.
That's right there with the Chuck E. Cheese hangover,
Yeah,
Discovery Zone
It's
hangover.
a real thing.
Wait, I don't know.
Yeah.
What's urban air? What, is that a
Trampoline park.
trampoline park? Okay.
Yeah,
I don't do
it's like
trampolines anymore.
Yeah, you add the
You do come to a point where the joints say no to things such as
yeah.
on the
It's like
trampoline.
it's like Chuck E. Cheese hangover, except add some light concussion to it,
Okay.
and then you've
Yeah.
got an urban air hangover.
Well, if you
Yeah.
can't get a concussion at Chuck E. Cheese, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say that.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Oh, man.
I've had 3 concussions at Chuck E. Cheese.
We had the state dance competition. So Maddox with the pom cats. They had
I saw
so
I saw Shane's
drove up
pictures
there
of that.
Friday, and then Friday evening, was it Friday? Yeah, Friday was solos. So you're there for hours to watch your
Yes.
daughter for 90 seconds. And
Oy
then
vey.
and then the next day you're there for all day to watch 2 team dances and.
I feel like they could do something productive. Like they'd be like, "Okay, girls, you're not dancing right now. Like, make these kits. Like, I don't
It's-
know. Like,
yeah,
here's some factory work while
There
you're
you go.
waiting."
Yeah. Feeding the homeless. Here you go. Put together some beans and rice.
It's me being me. The idea of sitting on a bleacher all day is like, nah.
Well,
like,
we didn't, trust me. So we hung out in restaurants. So we just
Yeah.
ate badly for 2 days.
Well, there you go. That
and I
makes it
came
worth
home.
it.
Well, we drove home. Awards were at 9 p.m. So we were
Yikes.
driving home by 10. I was home by
From St. Louis?
from St. Louis.
Oh.
I was home by 2 a.m. after I stopped in Lebanon to get the
gross.
dog. Thankfully, I had somebody preaching for me on Sunday. But talk about hangover all
Yeah.
day Sunday. When you get out of your eating rhythm, because the older I get, the
it's
more
brutal.
careful I have to be about eating, and I
Same.
don't like eating out for 48 hours straight. It's just not fun.
It's real hard on me.
Oh,
I'm not
it's
gonna lie.
it's not good.
Golly, and it's so hard to. Your body is just not used. Your body gets used to things,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're doing something your body is not used to, as you age, that gets
It
much
rebels. Your body
bad.
rebels.
Yes, yes.
So
yeah.
I went to bed so tired at 2 a.m. that I couldn't sleep. Have you ever done that?
Yes.
You just you've missed
Yeah.
the threshold.
Yep. Been
Yeah.
there.
So
That's
anyway,
rough.
yeah, I would have loved to have been to the gala. Is my point, but that's-
Yeah, because Dustin Hawkins was like, "Oh, you should come," and I'm like, "Oh, I'd done the soup fundraiser, and then we had like the Murney Awards, and I was like, I've had a little too much award shows and galas. Like, I
how
need
about
a
pajamas and a TV and a couch.
How about? Well, actually, I was chiseling mortar.
Oh
out
yeah, I
of
saw your video. Of course you were. I'm gonna have a
was like-
relaxing night at home with a chisel and a hammer.
Well, I didn't want to put this on Facebook. I was simultaneously making a shiv while I was chiseling out. I figured Facebook would flag that.
Totally forgot to share our show today.
Oh no!
I know. Oh,
We're
no.
missing everyone.
Awesome. I know.
But no,
That's
that
awesome.
was the classic. Like I woke up and I'm like, okay, it's clear we're not going to pancake breakfast because we've got one not feeling good, and I've got a surprise 3 or 4 hours that I didn't expect to have. What should I do? Chisel mortar, chisel thin set. It'll be fun. It worked. I mean, it was fine. Everybody's like, you can use a grinder. I'm like, I know I can use a grinder, but grinders create a dust storm.
Bigger mess, yeah.
And
Sure.
I have had so many dust storms in my house over the past.
You really have.
I just can't.
Plastic hanging and
I've had plastic
Yeah.
and I mean, even like you can hang all the plastic in the world.
you're still gonna have dust.
Be
in-
careful. You will still
kinds
have
of places.
dust. It does not. It
Mostly in your sinuses, but
yes. So I was like, I will caveman this step project because I do not want to use a stinking grinder.
That's fair.
I'm grindered out.
Yeah.
It's over. It's done. That part's done.
No grinder, no gala.
No grinder, no gala. And then I can't remember what I did Saturday night. It's something. Oh, we went to. That was maybe. I don't know what night that was. Have you been to the Shabu Hot Pot place?
Yeah, that's
It's fun.
It
Yeah?
is
Have you
super
done
fun.
I haven't done it.
That is a place where you can vegetable and protein load very healthily.
love
if
it.
You make good choices there. It's really easy to do that. It's an interesting.
Where is it?
So it's on South Campbell.
Yep. Just
Kinda-
barely, South Campbell.
Yeah, it's like
Is that like that Kickapoo Corners?
it's past Andes. So
Past
Yeah,
it, going the
yeah.
other
South,
way.
south.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
they took over
what was there?
Tasia.
No, it's even. I can't remember if it's further south than Tasia.
Oh.
I think it's right in there where the Team Tools is.
Yes, it's right by the tool store.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
check
a
it out.
neat deal. Like it's it's an all you can eat thing, so there is a variety of characters, which is always
All you can eat, but it's not like the buffet style feeding truck.
No, so
There's a conveyor belt.
there's a conveyor belt of protein and vegetables, basically.
The first place I ever had hot pot in my life was in Beijing, China. That was one of the things that we ate when we were in Beijing because
geez.
it wasn't here yet. And there is a chain of hot pot restaurants in China called Shabu Shabu, but they spell it in the Chinese way, Xiabu rather than S-H-A like we do it here. But that's Shabu Shabu in Chinese. But but it's the same thing. You get your pot of broth and it's heated up, and then they bring you
Bats and
food or meat and
Thin-
vegetables
thinly
and
sliced
whatever
meat.
you want.
that's what I meant by
and
bats.
What's a
a bat? Protein.
Oh, is that what a protein's called?
No,
Bat.
animal.
He's
Oh,
talking
bat.
about.
I'm there with
he's
you
making
now.
A COVID,
Wuhan
he's making a
bat.
COVID
I'm there.
joke.
That's an
Yeah, he's
old
making a
joke,
COVID
Ballard.
I can't believe
We've
that
moved
didn't
on
land.
from the bat.
Sorry,
It's a good try.
like-
I didn't do well. Yeah,
Now
it
I'm
was
thinking
my
of
delivery.
like a thin-shaved
Dang it.
bat, and it's really
Yeah.
grossing me out. Anyway, I'll take the ribeye. Thank
Anyway,
you.
you chuck it in the pot and it cooks it, and you pull it out and you eat it. And
Yeah.
there's broth and it's good. and
It's
you
so
can get
fun.
different
I love
kinds
it.
of
And the
broth.
conveyor belt runs right by your face.
Like, oh, I'll take some
and you're
noodles.
like, ooh, noodle.
So you just pay a
I'll have
price
some
and then
quail
you just
eggs.
start
Yeah,
grabbing
there's
stuff.
a set amount. It's this a price. They've got a lunch.
This a price.
This a price.
It's
this
a price.
price.
Run out of the meat that you ordered, they'll bring you more meat.
Bring me more of the meat.
It's the Italian Chinese fusion.
You got your big hot pot of ragu.
It's the price and
You
the
pull the
parmesan.
meatballs
And you
and the
sprinkle.
noodles, you
I
throw 'em in the
apologize. I apologize to every
I
Italian.
don't know what you're doing over here.
Bring me more of the sliced bat.
The princess.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to every Italian ever. I apologize.
Stick to the Irish, okay?
Yeah,
No
it's
more
better.
Empire coffee for you, Carlos.
Yeah, Carlos frowning. He's like, no, Lauren, no. So, but the conveyor belt's got like meat and like some noodles and vegetables and it's
Egg
a
rolls.
hoot. Egg rolls, because you've got a flat little burner thing and then you've got the broth. It's a hoot. It's a lot of fun.
Quail
love
eggs.
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
it's
whole
a lot
deal.
of fun.
I'll have to take
And it-
Sage loves that sort of thing. So when he's
Yeah.
in town, I'll
They
have
have
to.
ramen noodles,
Yeah.
and they'll have
Throw in there.
lo mein noodles and
Yeah, it's a hoot. It really is a lot of
Thai
fun.
noodles.
It's not one of those things like I want to go to every week, but it's a fun place to
Yeah.
visit.
Yeah.
And you can just go 90 minutes of all you can eat if you survive.
They don't let you stay for 4 hours.
no, there's a time limit.
You too much. Go.
There's a time limit.
Oh, goodness.
It's a good time.
I'll
Yeah,
have
that's a
to
fun
check
place.
that
It
out.
is fun. It's very different. I mean, we haven't had anything like it in Springfield before, so
Yeah.
and I think they're building another one maybe on Glenstone of a different variety,
They
but
should build one in
it's a hoot.
Rogersville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think that's what we need.
I don't think it's going to happen.
think that's it.
Yeah, I don't think that's next on the plans.
You know, we got a lot of good Mexican food here, and I love our Mexican restaurants here, and we
Yeah.
eat them all the time. But Taco Gordo is amazing if you've never been there.
Where's Taco Gordo?
Well, the one we go to is on South Campbell, but it's down near Plainview Road. Is that right?
Okay.
Plainview? Is that
I'll
right?
go that direction on
Yeah.
Campbell, but I don't like turning into town on Campbell.
No, I don't either.
I avoid
Campbell.
that.
It's down there, kind of by where the CBO Blood Center is.
Oh, okay.
And
Taco
they've got-
Gordo
Yeah, that
they've
is
got
Plainview.
a
It is good.
different kind of Mexican fare there.
Yeah, it's the
not-
birria tacos and sopas and all that stuff. Yeah,
The machete,
Yeah.
which is like just like this big. It's like
Yep.
people. It's full of stuff, and I can't remember. I get the uracha, I think is what it's called. It's so good.
Yep.
It's like a soft tortilla with all your beans and all that stuff on it. You just start going at it with a fork. And
Yep.
it's
Yep.
really good. Ice cream shop coming to Rogersville. That's right.
Yeah.
Post on that.
The
good.
Planet Gumball people in Marshall, they're
I'm not
I don't
familiar
know
with it all. I don't spend a lot of time in
there's
Marshall.
the Figgies people, and they're associated with the Planet Gumball people. And so it's all the same group. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's Amanda that's opening Planet Gumball or if she's got like I don't know exactly. I should know, but I don't. And she talked about this a while back, but it sounded like maybe it wouldn't happen. But now I think they're going for it. And I mean, it's so amazing when you see the response on something like that. Like, it's pretty obvious people wanted an ice cream shop.
Yeah. Well, I remember when the American Made was
Yeah.
serving. Even that got people excited. You
Yeah.
know. So
Well, the pharmacy had the ice cream.
the pharmacy had ice cream. Yeah, that
So-
people loved that.
Yeah. So
It's
I'm excited, and this seems like that's like an ice cream destination is what that looks like to me.
Yeah,
like
it really
it's
does.
not just a place that has some ice cream.
It's not a place that has ice cream; is an ice cream place.
It is yes,
a good distinction. Of
I
it.
agree, and I think that's what we need. And I was thinking yesterday. Well, I'm getting ready to figure out how to promote my Front Street property as into the commercial world, and took somebody over there yesterday, and I was thinking about another property I own and how the value on it has probably gone up since places like Figgy's and Empire right in that same area have opened, because now there's a reason people are going to a part of town that they weren't necessarily visiting before.
Yep.
Right.
And I was thinking how interesting that was, and how in a couple of years, what is going to be the value on those, and what is going to come around, because it's like we were talking last week about what Dishman's going to do
On the south side of town.
on the south side of town,
Yeah.
and that's a part of town that has had houses.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I know
When people
Sonic
think
and
of
all
south,
that's
they
there,
typically think of farmland.
but we're
Yeah.
even moving it further south
Right.
than what has been the existing commercial in a major way.
Yeah.
And it'll bring a lot of change.
I'm really anxious to see the eastern part of our town develop, because that's the
Yeah.
Webster County side,
Yeah.
and that's just a better place to be.
It's just easier.
It's easier.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that we're not seeing more development east in the Webster County side.
We will. We'll see. I firmly believe we'll see more like manufacturing go in there,
Yeah.
because that's probably the biggest use of that.
Well, it's the easiest. I mean, it's
It's
the
the
easiest place to
easiest.
build manufacturing is in Webster County on the east side of town, and I don't mind that. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's a little disappointing because you just get this big industrial area over there, and that
Yeah,
kinda
I think
kills
that's
the
what's leading to-
residential and commercial and all of that a little bit, because who wants to be next to the manufacturing plant with your
Yeah.
nice store, your restaurant, or your home?
Yeah.
But
I don't know. It's It's going to be really interesting to see, and I mean, I think everybody's just kind of anticipating to see, kind of what is potentially going to develop between 125 and here now that's the overpass is done. I feel like at some point that will start clicking together.
It's happening.
Well, that little
Yeah.
that new little outer road they put in there.
I like that road a lot.
I do
It's
too.
neat.
And they've clearly already prepped it for.
Yeah, there's a
commercial.
plan.
Yes.
There's a
it's,
plan.
I think I've seen the posts, the meter posts are already in and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know that there's a plan, but it's obvious they did pre-planning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
it was very
It's there.
intelligently
It's
done.
there for somebody to plan.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not just a.
Well, if you look at like those little communities that are outside of St. Louis and outside of Kansas City, you can see what that's laid out to look like.
Yeah.
Right? Where you've got that, maybe even a mall that's got your Best Buy in one end of it. I mean, not
There's a
saying
Best
we're-
Buy coming to Rogersville?
Yeah,
that's
the
what I
rumor.
just heard.
That's the rumor that we just started.
I can't
you
wait.
heard it here first.
Clearly
That's
not
right.
true.
Best
But that
Buy.
doesn't stop.
I hadn't been in a Best Buy in years, and I
was-
walked in it 6 months ago or so, and I was like, "This is not the same Best
No, it's
Buy."
Different
dramatically
vibe now.
different.
It's a whole it's almost like you're walking into a smart home is
Yeah.
the vibe, and they've designed it that way, which is smart.
I went inside the Best Buy for the first time maybe a week and a half ago to return something that I'd bought from
Bought online.
BestBuy.com.
Yeah, yeah. I think most of their business is online now.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of blew my mind. I'm not gonna lie. It was because last time I was in there, it was like, or not last time, but in my mind, it's like CDs and and I was like, and
You got
Bingo
iPods?
games.
You got them iPods are in?
Video
Which aisle?
games.
I was like, what? And then there's the stereo room.
Well, there's a mental shift, because I think there for a time you would go to a brick and mortar store like that to get to see the selection. But now my feeling is when you go to a brick and mortar store like that, you're seeing a more limited selection than what you can see online. So you get
that's an
online, you can
interesting
actually
observation.
research all of the options, whereas in brick and mortar you're going to only see what they've got in stock. So
It is nice, though, to be able to order online and go there and pick it up.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait for
Yeah.
a delivery. And
it's interesting.
That's how I use places
I
like
was,
that now.
shopping something on BestBuy.com the other day, and they could ship it to me like by the 26th or in-store pickup on the 28th. So it was like,
why would I go
Just-
there?
Yeah, I think they had to ship it to the store to let me pick it up. I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Just go ahead,
The only
just
reason
go ahead and
to
bring
do
it to my
in-store
house.
pickup is because it's going to be ready in an hour, and I'm going to go buy.
Exactly.
I'm going to go pick it up.
Yeah.
Now I have.
That's
had,
why that in stock green, that little green writing there is really key if you're
and
trying
Best
to do
Buy's
that.
done something interesting too. They've got a local delivery, so sometimes you buy online, they'll deliver it to you immediately, like same day. They'll
Nice.
just bring it right to you. They've got a local.
That's what the
shipping.
world demands. So
It is.
Yeah.
am really
Businesses have to
behind.
pick up to that.
Hey, we kind of touched on this, but I kind of want to talk about that.
Okay.
There is a surge of fake news on my social media
Yeah.
feed.
Scams.
It's bad.
Well, not just scam, just fake news. Like this morning, there was a post that somebody had shared from it looked like a legitimate, quasi-legitimate news outlet about Tesla's new electric plane priced at $99,999. Elon shocks the world, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that would be cool, but really? And I just looked at it. I'm like, no, it's just fake news. But there are, I don't know, maybe I'm just seeing it, but there seemed like since January 20th, there has seemed to have been a rise of fake conservative news pages, websites, whatever, that are putting out stuff that conservatives, Trump supporters will gobble up because it's the news they want to hear.
They want to hear it.
But
Yeah.
it's not true. And I mean,
And it's fodder for the other side too.
well, I'm confident that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think all these sites are run by leftists trying to make conservatives look stupid, and they're
I don't
being very
think
successful.
It's possible, but like yesterday, I saw a post, and it was a mugshot of two really terrible looking people. I mean, they just looked really scary. And it was like in Jefferson County, they murdered 3 female police officers, and they were Hispanic. So, I mean, this is kind of falls into what you're saying, too. And I mean,
Stirring up anger
towards Hispanic people. And, they're on the run and they're very dangerous and blah, blah, blah. And you need to share this. And I'm like, this is a fake post, from a fake profile.
Yeah.
And like, I've seen those about dogs, like, oh, there's this dog and it's been hit by a car and it's at the shelter, bump this post. But this was not so obvious.
Well, I'm just saying, before you share any of those news stories, just click through and get on the. I mean, I go to Grok and I just said, is this true? And I'm like, no, this isn't
I
true.
just think people need to stop sharing stuff from sites they're not familiar with.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like it's
Well,
dangerous. I mean, it's a war that we are
in
right now.
If you're reading something and sharing it within 30 seconds,
that ain't no good.
that's just not a good way to live,
you gotta-
let alone post.
Well, and then, take the time then to go in, if you're on Facebook or whatever, and click the 3 little dots and say, hide everything from this page.
Right.
That
Yes.
way you won't see it anymore.
yes, exactly.
Or I do go a step further. So this is a weird layer of being an admin on a community page, because here's what happens. These fake profiles join community pages. They make these juicy posts like I saw yesterday in the community page. It's a public community page. So then people share those and it gets like tens of thousands of shares out of a community page, which is so weird, right? And they're obviously doing it that way on purpose. And so I report it to the community page. Like you can report any of those to the admin. Like, this is a false profile. You can do that, then they can see it and remove it. But I mean, it's dangerous.
Well,
Because
there's a thin line because satire is allowed. We're allowed to do things like that, even if you're like, that's not satire. Well, frankly, I don't think it's satire either. I think it's just fake news. I think it's stirring trouble. But that's my opinion.
Yeah.
And I can't censor somebody else for that, because you look like something like the Babylon Bee. I mean, everybody pretty much knows that's fake news, and they're pretty.
you'd be surprised.
I know. I've shared plenty of things, and people are like, "What? That's not true." I'm like,
I know.
We know that. It's a joke."
I mean, there's a whole section of our society that
Yep.
doesn't really understand that because they're.
But what I'm saying is, I don't think you can restrict that, because I think that's a free speech infringement. I think we just
But
have to talk about it.
there's a difference between a restriction and okay? So I guess I don't really believe that a nefarious person creating a fake profile and creating posts of false information is freedom of speech.
Well, I think it depends on your perspective and what we're talking about. From a legal perspective, I would never want to legislate that away.
I mean, I don't know how you do
But
legislate it.
California did. They just made it a crime to do. I mean, what was it? the simulated videos where they used AI, and something like that.
Oh.
They made it a crime.
I'm talking
fake
about
videos.
creating a fake,
Yeah.
obviously fake, with a nefarious intent, social media page, and using it to share almost dangerous information.
Yep.
Because this post yesterday was 100% catering towards being angry at Hispanics. It was. I mean, you could tell.
And it's horrible, and they're terrible people for doing it. But free speech demands
But also,
we tolerate.
But okay, here's my question though. But it does free speech, and this is a true question. So free speech to me protects an individual who is representing themselves. Okay. If you are a fake entity, how are you represented by freedom of speech?
Well, what do you mean by fake entity? You mean like Lady Gaga? Because that's not her real name.
No, I mean like a website titled, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't know. It's hard to explain what I'm saying. Like, I get what you're
conservative
saying.
news, but they're not really news.
But people
They're-
can look at Lady Gaga and say, okay, that's Lady
That's a
Gaga. That's her
character.
stage name. I
right.
can find her real name. I know about her. It's
John Wayne
obvious who
wasn't
this
his real
person
name.
is. Yeah, but it's obvious who this person is. These people are not obvious that you can't find.
I think your
it.
point is John Wayne doesn't go by John Wayne, and Lady Gaga doesn't go by Lady Gaga with the intent to deceive.
Yeah.
This is normative in the trade to have a stage
And I mean,
name.
I'm just playing devil's advocate
Sure.
here.
Well,
but then how do you draw the line and say, well, is it an intent to deceive or is it an intent to entertain?
I will always fight for freedom of speech. I think it matters
Oh, yeah, I
on
will
every
too.
level. However, I will temper this by saying there's no way our founding fathers could have conceived of how quickly information is disseminated in our age.
No, it wasn't even on the radar.
It would be very interesting to
I agree.
have them in the room with us and say, all right, here's our reality.
I said, I feel like
What do you want to do with this principle called freedom of speech?
I feel like
And-
that protects an individual's right to freedom of speech. I'm not so sure that protects a group of 20 people running I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if that's
And
been
again,
debated. I don't know.
I'm gonna lean towards let's do everything we can to maintain free speech. But I just think it's a far more complex conversation today
used
than it
to
was
be.
250 years
No doubt.
ago.
I think we have to allow a wide range of free speech. But I will caveat that with one thing. When the founders talked about free speech, they were talking really primarily about protecting political speech.
Correct.
They had no intent to protect the pornography and the obscenity that we
That's
have
right.
overwhelmingly used this principle to protect when we never should have. But I think that we have to
I think you can throw spreading mis and disinformation in maybe that category too, because it's probably just as dangerous.
Yeah, but the problem we see there is what you call or they call or somebody else calls
I know.
mis or disinformation.
Yeah.
And we even have a concept now where they're talking about malinformation. Malinformation is true information, but it's
With
deemed
malintent.
It's just deemed harmful.
Okay.
Like
that's crazy.
yeah, but see
Suck
that's
it up,
where
Buttercup.
this leads to.
Oh, I get it.
And so you've kind of just got to protect free
Interesting.
speech and say I'm going to combat false speech with a lot of true speech.
And I think the
And that takes a lot more work.
Yeah,
It does take a lot.
I
more.
just think it's
Freedom requires work.
I think it's
True.
just a
it
lot
just
more
requires
gray.
more work today than it did 250 years ago is what I'm saying, because
I'll
you
entertain that
literally-
that's possible. But the flip side of that is 200 years ago, if I spread fake information to an entire town, there was nobody there that could correct it for maybe months, if not years, because the speed of information was just slower. So there's
For sure.
flip side of
I
all
think
that.
it just depends. I think it totally depends.
But
and
also, but they were receiving less information,
Yep.
and they could sit there and chew on that one bit of information.
well, they
with
saw
great
no way to
they
correct it.
saw the person who was spreading it. And here's
Do we know
here's
this
the other
person?
side
Is
to
there
that.
credibility?
When it did finally get debunked, there were consequences.
Yeah.
Like they,
Well,
hung
take
him
him out,
in.
shoot him.
Yeah. Or he had to run off.
But
He or she
seriously,
had to run off.
They ran him off. They
Or,
dealt
I mean,
with
they
him.
burned him at the stake. Like they're
Tarred
witch.
and feathered.
Yeah.
Run them out
So
on a rail.
I mean, there is. I just think it's good to have these conversations. Just because I'm like saying things doesn't mean this is my opinion and I want things done this way.
I understand.
It means like let's have the conversation. Let's talk about it. It's a lot more complicated than it used to be.
For sure.
So
Well, we got to vacate the premises. Alex Bryant's going to be in here with Frontline Faith here in just about half an hour, getting his show started. Love having him on here. He's doing a great job.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're promoting that. We're always looking for new content, new talent to come on here too. So if you got an idea for a show, hit us up. Who knows? We might put you on Planet 417. We'll have to do that. But other than that, we'll be back next week, next Tuesday. We'll see you then.
see you guys.